6:30, we'll get started. Call the meeting to order, start with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. There you see that Eric is with us online.
Yes, and Brad's absent.
All right, we are ready for the minutes. They're distributed. Both the minutes of 9/16 as well as the special meeting on 9/23. I'll start with 9/16, take the motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
is there any changes, comments? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. 9/23, the special meeting that we had for the police chief's contract. Take a motion for their approval.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
In a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Public comment, we have nobody virtually, we have virtually no one. Continue to move on.
That is cool.
Treasury support, Madam Treasurer. Oh,
Just real quickly, again, I mean, this back-to-back minutes and just thanking Jerry again for all of those.
Thank you.
Minutes.
very comprehensive, Jerry. I agree with Trish.
Thank you. Very nice. All right, thank you.
Wow, I know, what was that? Thank you.
Wow, does anybody bring her a present?
How about a raise? Oh, no.
Wait for the budget. All right, am I up?
Yep.
Okay, I have a quick little report. Okay, so our executive summary as of September 30, 2025 for fiscal year 2026. Oh, sorry. Fiscal year to date, the town has received revenue of 29,766,870, or 56.3% of the total amount of 52,843,405 budgeted for fiscal year 26. When comparing our performance to last fiscal year, we are 0.9% behind this time last year. Next, we'll move down to the authorized investment section. Actually, I just was going to comment quickly on the mini golf that we have there in between. So during September, 13.5 thousand in mini golf fees were transferred to the Park and Rec Strategic Sinking Fund. So fiscal year to date, mini golf revenue totals are 192,121, and the current balance in Fund 3053 is 805,032. Any questions there?
No, that's just from an operation standpoint, we're just to transfer the money monthly rather than it's at end of the year.
It's automatic now.
Thank you.
Okay. So at the end of September, the town had 47.9 million in its bank accounts. Last month, the STIP rate stayed steady, dropping just a tiny bit at 4.43. Today, the STIP rate is 4.23, and last month Webster's rate was 4.49. Then we'll move down to the pension plan. At the end of September, we received our report from Morgan Stanley. The pension plan is up. The town pension plan is up 3.67% fiscal year to date versus its benchmark of 5.48%. Over the 3-year horizon, the town plan has returned 13.48% versus its benchmark of 15.89%. Then the fire department pension plan is up 3.48% fiscal year to date and has returned 13.04% over the 3-year horizon versus its benchmark of 15.89%. Any questions there?
No, but can I go backwards just a second? I was curious when I read this, that even though there was a 25 basis points rate reduction. It doesn't, it's not showing up on any of our accounts.
Not yet. So, the short-term investment fund, goes out on the curve like has like an average duration of like 30 to 45 days. And then Webster pays the bank in the rate in arrears. So probably next month we'll see some.
Right.
Did you look at the stiff rate today by any?
Well, the stiff rate today is 4.23.
Okay.
So it is
it's
down.
coming down. Yeah.
I mean, it is down a little bit, so we'll start to see that kick in, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
We're still, it's above 3. Let's take it. So let's keep, just gotta keep moving on with our money as much as we can. So I think we're doing okay. So as of September 30, we had total cash balances of 47.9 million, total pension balances of 32.6 million, for total assets under management of 80.5 million. So page 2 of our treasurer's report shows it broken out in more detail. Tax revenues were 281,982, or 56.6% of the amount budgeted for fiscal year 26. And then in terms of local revenues, the town collected $207,042 locally, or $537,006 in local revenues, for the total of the 29,766,871. We received $47,982 from the state of Connecticut, and that's a formula-based grant, so it fluctuates. And I think that's all we'll get in that line item for this year. And then our interest and dividend income for September was 121,498. And then the only thing I wanted to really show was the building permits. We received $47,760 for the month. So our fiscal year to date already in building permits is at 57.9% of their budget. So they're really hitting it out of the park in the building department. He's a busy guy. And that's all I have. Very quick report. Any questions?
Question for the treasurer. Karen, thank you very much. Finance director report.
Okay, for September, we're gonna start with the ARPA. We only have $281,000 left to spend, so we're really making great progress there. We still have the DPW equipment. I think that's a flail mower, $130,000, and then the cemetery, $69,000, which Carl addressed last month. Those are the two big items left, and as I mentioned, the mower's supposed to be here in November, so I think by the time we hit this December, I think pretty well done, and still have a year left to go. So month over month, the ARP expenditures increased 160,000, and the majority of which is the Beaver Dam Trail Culvert. Our portion of it, we paid the ARPA portion first, and then the town still has our side of it that we have to do from the grant money that we received. But that project is complete, and also that's the only project that's complete. And moving down to the cash flow summary. For the month of September, the general fund was down 3.4 million. We had 3.8 million in expenses and about $500,000 in revenue. Capital funds were up 290,000. Oh, actually, for the Beaver Dam Trail Culvert, we received our grant money, 850,000, more than we expected. So,
Well, yeah,
you want to comment on that?
I do.
Okay.
So the local bridge project will pay half of all your hard costs and soft costs. So the engineering on this project, we probably have to go back and look. It's probably 150 grand over the last several years, maybe even more. So that 850, of that 850, about 650 will be bridge construction. And then the state will also pay another 75 in engineered engineering costs that we've incurred and will incur, until that project is entirely buttoned up. So, we will probably for the next Board of Finance have a chunk of money that we will say, hey, we're taking this as reimbursement into the engineering fund. Where do we want to put it? And whether we want to put it in grant related projects or not, that decision will be made, but it's it's one of the few reimbursement funds that you can actually get soft costs back, which is very unusual, usually just construction costs. So and we will probably end up returning some money to the state also. I think they're going off an estimate that was provided to them. But I think there's probably gonna be a return of some state funds.
I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
We appreciate getting their money up front like that. I mean, it's awesome, really good.
So the capital fund, you know, we received 850,000. Obviously, we also paid for a large portion of the construction of the Beaver Dam project too. So that's why it's not up the total 850, it's net plus 290. On the reserve funds, down 137,000. We actually got our second dump truck. Remember, I'm gonna talk about in a moment that big DPW plan where we mapped out all that equipment that we wanted to purchase. So there was 2 dump trucks as part of that. One we paid for with ARPA funds, and then the second one has arrived, and we paid for that out of the equipment fund as previously planned. And that was offset, so that fund was only down 137,000, and we also received some reimbursements from WPCA for the work that we've been doing there, and they reimburse us once we submit to them. And our non-major funds are down 151,000. Again, our pension plan and our youth and family services are the 2 major programs that we fund. There's many funds, but those are the 2 major ones that drive everything. So turning to the next page, page 3. So on the capital funds, if you go to public works, it's minus 10,219. As planned, it's going to go negative, and then when we pay for that flail mower, 130, because we've already moved that money into that account from the ARPA account. I mean, it's still ARPA funds, but we've just, once the decision was made, we put it over there. So it's going to go a little bit more negative when we pay for that, and that is as planned. And hopefully in November, we'll be done purchasing things there. Board of Ed, 1,150,000. We've also done all of the transfers for the surplus that occurred. So we added 150,000 to that fund. You can see that there. And down 2 more, the post-employment payout, 326,000. We added the 250,000 to that account. And so as we start making those large payments as described, that will come down. We also had a retirement that will be another pretty large chunk of change too coming out of that.
Right, Lieutenant Walsh.
What's the timing on when those payments will be made?
Which ones?
Initially for the chief and then for.
So with the chief, we actually, when we got notice of Brian Walsh's retirement, we were able to structure something where the payments are going to be extended out over several years. It's interest free. Probably good for him, good for us. Because there's the 250 that we requested from surplus was just really gonna get us back to even at best.
Right.
And if we had any other retirements, which by the way, we received another one, not only Lieutenant Walsh, our fire marshal is resigning, in a week and a half. So there'll be some payment to him. I don't know what, he's been here 8 years or so.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we've structured this so that fund will not take the hit all at once. Ryan Walsh will get paid all at once, but the former chief is going to get paid out over the course of several years, which is gonna help us with cash flow.
Okay.
And I have no other comments on that. We've finished up our paving projects for the year under capital, the next box down. So we spent 350,000 of the 500. Of course, we'll pick it up again in the spring, so that money will all be spent. And other than that, that's it for that report. And then in the individual funds that we have here on the last page, I don't have anything unique or interesting that's occurring. I did discuss some of the outliers last month, but if anybody has any questions on anything in particular, I'm happy to answer that.
Any questions for the finance director? Thank you, Colleen.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Bruce, quick question. So I had a fun again, an idea. Sorry for the, but two sorts down the, 430, 300, Lake Woods Highway and Street. Right now it's, about 50% of the budget amount spent, which is not fine, but we're spending considerably more than last year. Is that the way of reading this?
Last year, if you recall, we had a little transferring of funds and things like that with ARPA. We had some bad
Oh, I
weather
see.
and we had some transferring of funds and we did some other things. So it's not the year over year comparison
I see.
isn't going to be quite as normal as it would be.
Yeah. The ARPA, yeah, the
Yeah.
ARPA basically.
But that's things unfolded there.
Here and there, a lot of
Yeah.
other support.
Okay, other questions? Let's move to the financing recommendation for the fire truck.
Okay. So, the board knows that, approved in concept the purchase of a fire truck. And they gave us a plan with several options from which we could pick for financing from PNC as the bank. They gave us, outright purchase or financing over 3, 5, and 7 years. And with both of those options, we could either start paying for it right now, either 100% in cash.
When you said both, what do you mean? In which op, the 5 and 7?
In the 3, 5, and 7,
Yeah.
we could either start paying for it today, or we could start paying for it when, like, I guess it's 40 months or whatever it is, 48 months. We could start paying for it in the future in 3 years to 4 years. If we either pay in cash today, or we start financing today, the truck gets discounts of 197,000. So the price of the truck would be 1,575,000 and change. If we wait like 3 or 4 years, we don't get that discount, and the amount that we would either pay in cash or finance would be 1,798,985. So they showed us that. So that was one thing that was taken into consideration. Actually, I should have said from the get-go that the recommendation is for the 7-year payment starting immediately. So one of the considerations for starting immediately is the 1,575,000 versus the 1,798,000 that we would get. Then secondly, looking at all of the finance charges, if we use our own funds like we did with the DPW, I looked at like, well, how negative are we gonna go? And, when is that going to occur? And so that was one of the considerations. And in that case, so paying immediately, and the 7-year kind of had the payments going out a long enough term that it's a little bit more tolerable. And the low point of negative fund balance would be in fiscal year 33, where it would be minus $983,000. So with that in mind, and also looking at, so they had an interesting way of looking at the interest rates. But if you just put them into a normal interest rate calculator and you say, this is my payment, this is the principal, what is the interest rate? The interest rate on the 3-year terms is 5.5%. On the 5-year term is like 5.12, And on the 7-year term, it was 4.92. So the 7-year term actually had a lower level of interest rate. Prepayments can be negotiated. Typically, in a typical deal, they would be like after year 5, 6, or 7, no prepayment fee, but they can also be negotiated prior to that. So we would have to take that into consideration at the point when we enter into the financing. Another recommendation as part of this is, I personally thought that going to 983 negative was a little large. And so the other part of this recommendation is to increase the amount that we give to the fire truck apparatus fund, which is currently 176,800. Bring it to 200,000 in this upcoming budget that we're going to be working on. And then increase it by $25,000 every single year till we get up to 350,000. And if we do that, the lowest point that the fund would go negative would be 439,000. And that would bring us in a year earlier in terms of hitting the low point, the negative balance. So those are the 3 reasons for this recommendation when weighing everything out together. The discount of 197 by starting the payments right away, the lower level of interest rates, and the ability to use the fund balance in a way that minimizes the negativity of that account.
So, Leanne, as I read on the annual cash flow, when you say right away, it's really after July of next year.
So, yes. So the contract would be entered into, let's say this month, because they won't start the truck until we enter into the contract. And then the payment is due a year later. So we don't pay for it like tomorrow, we pay for it like at the end of the year. And that happens to be in fiscal year 27, September, fiscal year 27.
Okay. And so if a year from now, who knows what the rate environment is going to be? And also, who knows whether or not at that point, the town may be interested in going with some bond issue that pulls in a variety of different things. Would we, taking action like this tonight, would we have the flexibility to do something different by September of next year?
I don't know the answer to that until Carl negotiates the contract.
So I'll bet if we entered into a contract today with a 7-year repayment and a year from now said, we want to pay it off, I bet they'd say no, there's a prepayment penalty. That's my guess. However, we did hear that PNC will negotiate that. And so that's what Leanne is referring to. So I could get on the phone and say, we want no prepayment penalty at any point. Because we may want to do that and see what they say.
Yeah, it's at least worth.
Oh, yeah, I 100%.
Because they'll get their 1,575,000 up front
Right.
by financing it now. And a year from now, they'd still have their 1,575,000. So
They don't make the interest.
they just won't get they won't get that much interest, that's all. And that's why there would be,
Right,
so.
right.
But
Maybe
we
that's
cannot
the
say.
prepayment is a year's interest.
Or maybe or there could be something, but what we are doing tonight, if you all go for the motion, is that we're appropriating $1,866,004. And that's the money that we have to work with and stay within that budget, no matter how we finance this thing. So it can be that amount or lower, but it can't be higher.
Okay. And then will this action that we take tonight, will that still need to be approved at a town meeting?
If we're appropriating money, I would say the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thereafter, through budget referendum, for the annual, amount that goes to the fire
Oh.
truck apparatus, but
Right,
I mean, I don't know that we are necessarily, that's our strategy, but I don't know that necessarily has to happen, because otherwise the fund would just get more negative, and then we'd eventually pay.
right, so this would assume future administrations are increasing that amount by 25,000. If that doesn't happen, then the fund will just go negative a little bit more than it is going negative, so. But that was something we discussed.
Okay, other questions people have? George?
So the truck, when they reported this, it was a period of 40 to 48 months to build.
Yes,
They said if we do it sooner, it could be sooner than that, but let's just say it's 40 months, that's 3.5 years or so. So will there be conditions where they don't deliver? Within that time frame, we,
I'm not sure about that. I mean, because it's two separate transactions,
One with the bank.
One
and
with the bank.
yours.
and they're given the money,
yeah,
like, the fire company is agnostic to what we do. You
right,
either pay us 1,575,000 from your own pocket or get it from PNC.
right,
And then the delivery is based on
yeah.
best efforts, I would assume. I mean, I'm sure they're pretty good at figuring those things out, but I don't think that it's a,
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah, but it's,
Yeah, what did Joe say, 39 to 52 months or something?
Something like that,
I think
yeah.
they
yeah.
had a delivery window.
that's a big window.
Yeah,
It is a big one.
Sure is.
Yeah. He said 40 to 41 months.
Oh,
There it
no,
is.
but
Yeah.
I thought there was a window for them to, maybe there's not.
No,
I can look at
it
it.
was 40 to 48. The, yeah, I guess the question really is, the company that would be constructing the truck. Do we have a contract with that the fire department or the town have a contract there? Because that's where
Yes,
that is usually raised.
yes.
Two contracts, one for the truck
Yes.
and one for the finance.
Right, right.
Okay.
So I guess maybe the thing to do is look at the truck. Not
Yeah.
the financing, and see whether or not there's some penalty for delay.
Yeah,
And the 3-year, could you explain to me the 3-year immediate, does that mean that it has to be paid on the 3rd year in full?
It would start, all of the immediates start September 2027 fiscal year.
So 1 year from the time they go
And
into
then-
place.
Right, and then 27, fiscal year 27, 28, and 29 would be the
You make payments each year,
year, and then it's done after that.
and on the 3rd year, you're finished.
Correct, yes,
Okay, so it's not that immediate.
yes,
But the immediate is the starting versus.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, an immediate start of amortization and payments versus a deferred.
Is it deferred in essentially the delivery time, delivery date of the truck?
I think it's correlated, but they might have had,
Separately paid?
let me see if it started in the 3rd year. Seem to think, January 2030, it would start.
Excuse me.
So,
Yeah,
so for
deferred
the
in-
3-year, yeah, January 2030, I think they all start in January 2030 for the, yeah, they all start in January 2030 for the deferred. So that's 3 years.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
I mean, yeah, simple question, we can afford this, right?
so I've talked to Joe about their needs long-term. And we've held steady at about 180,000 putting into their reserve fund for years. This is asking us to go up, but I mean, can we afford it? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if that number never goes up, but never goes down, we still can afford it. We're just gonna go negative
Yeah,
in that account more. So are we gonna go negative by 439,000, or might we go negative $983,000 or, you know, so. The worst case scenarios are in front of you in terms of going negative.
Right.
And I think any way you slice it, you're paying it off over the course of, like borrowing from yourself, you're paying it off over the course of the use of the truck. If we were to just say, we're just gonna pay 200,000, just do the math, 200,000 a year is 10 years. If you had to pay interest on it, you know? So that's reasonable if we were just to do that almost.
Yeah.
And go negative, say, we'll buy the truck right now. But we're committed to, we're gonna go negative in the account, but we're only gonna transfer 200,000 into that account for the next 10 years until it gets back to where it is. Do they need anything else in the next 10 years? Probably, something seems to come up. He's assured me that they're in really good shape right now in terms of what they have and what their future needs are, so, I think raising the amount that we put into their reserve fund is probably not a bad idea. Getting it to 350,000 is probably more than I'd like to take it. But the first select person in fiscal year 33 or whatever it is could decide to then reduce it by 100,000 because it won't be needed at that point. They can say, we'll take it down, back down to 250 and just go with 250 at that point. So I think any way you slice it, we can afford it. It's a question of how do we want to pay for it and how soon do we want to be done with the payments? Do we want to be done with in 7 years or 10 years? But the answer is yes.
So the interesting point, right? I think you keep raising this. So, I mean, this is so far down the road, but if nothing happens, this 350 will stay at 350 until something changes. Is that the premise?
Well, until the next budget, and the
Right.
budget comes in, or brings it back down to 100.
So, right, I could say, hey, I'm gonna bring it up 50,000 next year, and the Board of Finance may say, we're gonna reduce it by 50. You know, and so, you know, none of these numbers are guaranteed, but we're always I have to think we're always going to reserve money, even if we flatline it.
Yeah.
Or we can do it. Hard for me to believe that we would not be supporting our fire department with some reserves. Increasing them to 350 might be more than what I'd like to do, but I'm taking the finance director's recommendation that, you know, we only want to go negative by 440,000. That's something we discussed. As opposed to going negative $1 million.
And you could always stop at that fiscal year 31, stop it at 300,000 when you get to the high point of negativity and just go slower.
There can also
You could always
be
do that.
a future board might say, hey, we have a really good surplus, let's throw 100 grand at it and prepay it. Well, okay.
Yeah, sure.
And then we don't have to go up by 50,000 next year, something like that. You might want to do that next year, George. And Megan.
But the most important thing is that we have a
That
strategy.
is very nice. This is very nice about that. Thank you.
Okay, set. So we've got a motion. Motions to make an appropriation amount of $1,866,004 from the Fire Department Apparatus Fund, 3359, for the purpose of financing a Pierce Enforcer aerial fire truck. Funding of this appropriation will be achieved by way of annual budget referendum by increasing the annual reserve contribution to 200,000 and increasing the annual contribution by 25,000 until it reaches 350,000. And I guess, should we add that this is going to town meeting or should we not?
Well.
If you normally
technically-
do.
So technically, anything, we probably should because it's so big, but technically, because the fire department apparatus fund has already been blessed as using it for the purpose of fire department equipment, technically we don't. But we could do it anyway, just because it's such a big.
It probably will, because it is a purchase and kind of it's a new appropriation from this board, so I probably will.
Okay, So we'll add to the motion and take it to town meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Great, thank you very much. We are moving on to the marine outside transfer fee. And although Lieutenant Walsh is not here, I think he certainly gave us a great response to the questions that were being asked around the boat. Do we need to go over it, or should we just ask questions at this point? We did discuss it at the last meeting.
So I'll just add that I think we have over $12,000 in this account already.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that'll probably slow down over the course of the winter, but I anticipate it will pick back up next year and we will probably be able to repower the boat next year, is my guess.
That's just from the 175 per hour?
Yes.
12,000?
Yep. Right? Isn't that
Yes,
what
correct,
Andy
yes.
reported today?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, I mean, look, it's an awesome way to repower the boat next year.
Eric, I'm gonna look to you for your expertise on this. Are you okay with this?
I'm good after seeing what he wrote. That
Okay.
12,000 could be 25,000 though, but I'm good.
All right, any other questions people have? Not, I'll make the motion to approve funding mechanism for the maintenance and purchase of equipment for the police boat using a fee income from outside services garnered from the Amtrak Bridge project. Should I put in the 175 an hour, or should we just leave it in there?
You could just leave it and then they can change it.
Okay. So we'll leave it at that. Is there a second?
Second.
Made in second, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Sawyer.
Bruce just wants to get through this penultimate meeting.
Yes, move.
The new chief was sworn in last Wednesday. I hope, I don't know if any of you were able to make it. It was a really nice event. He's been, out and about meeting people. He was at our department head meeting this afternoon. Met a few more of our department heads, making the rounds, met with Leanne today. If you're able to come on October 18th at the Duffy Pavilion from 12:30 to 4:30, we're just gonna put it in the middle and let people gawk, I guess. So, but yeah, so he is on board and moving along and, as I mentioned earlier, our fire marshal resigned last Friday, gave 2 weeks notice. And, we are already, I have an applicant that's in my mailbox today. I'm gonna try to schedule an interview next week that comes highly recommended by 2 people that I respect very well, so hopeful that that will work out. I have a call into the fire marshal, the state fire marshal, in case we need something else in the interim to determine what our options are. I also have the job application listed on the state listserv for fire marshals, so we're covering our bases. The fire marshal is an interesting position because it really encompasses a lot of different things. Obviously fire investigations, but every restaurant needs their alcohol permit and the fire marshal has to sign off on that, you know? It's one of those, there's a lot of things, plan reviews, like the Yale building and any new construction before it can even begin needs to be reviewed by the fire marshal. So that they can start building from the ground up. So it's all over the map, and you need somebody, and we probably need someone full-time like we've had. And I thank Pete for what he's done. It was time for him to move on, and he's doing that. And the town will move on, and it'll be just fine. So there's that. you know, look, I've gone over the projects. I keep talking about this crosswalk project on Main Street. That I feel like I announce it's about to begin next Monday and next Monday and next Monday, and it doesn't begin. I'm told it will begin next Monday, and I kid you not. Because they have all their submittals in and our engineers reviewed them, and so they want to not only start next Monday, they want to be out of here by mid-November. The project that's going on Route One is Frontier, it's not the town sidewalk project, I know, it is Frontier moving a duct bank, like one of their electric bank, I mean, it's. And no, I don't, Frontier's eating that cost, so whatever they're doing, I know they're causing some issues and some people aren't happy out there, some of the businesses. The sidewalk work is gonna go much faster once that starts, and that project will probably start this year and then shut down and then start again next year. The Acton Public Library generator is in, it's not hooked up yet, but it is installed, it needs to be fenced in, it needs to be connected. So that will happen shortly. And I mean, you know, just, let's see what the new IT information technology company is working at the PD. Mike Gardner, who is the current IT person over there, we are paying him an additional stipend to train the new IT company for the month of September and October. But he will be let go and is moving on voluntarily as of October 31st. So they will have outsourced IT, which apparently is going very well. And really excellent company. They do other work for the PD. So that is moving along nicely. That will be an additional cost of about 20 grand. But I've talked to other towns and most towns do outsource their IT for their PD. And we got quotes that were between 80 and 100. We got 3, and that's about what this company is. We were paying Mike Gardner about 60 to 65. This is about 82,000.
So we won't be rehiring a new Mike Gardner.
We will not.
On this
We will not be doing that. We will have a 24/7 company ready to do that, which I think is a better scenario. And in addition to that, and I don't know if I mentioned this at a prior board finance meeting, I think what I will do, once they get settled in nicely, is probably introduce town hall to them too. As backup, even though we have some backup with Star Computer right now, I don't think it's the worst thing at all for everybody to be familiar with everything, so. We'll see how that goes, but we want to get them up and running first. Lieutenant Walsh retired last Friday. According to the new chief, Lieutenant Walsh could not have been more helpful in the transition for the limited time they were together. The new chief was coming in prior to his being sworn in to just get a feel for operations. I guess Stephanie Millardo and Detective Williams have also been just really great with the new chief, so he can get his feet out from his feet under him. Yeah, so the tree inventory was completed. Bill Claffey was like, we're gonna rue the day we did this, because there's a lot of trees on there that some of them are gonna require, like, we have beech trees, 2 beech trees that are town beech trees on Old Boston Post Road, I think, that's what Bill said. And the beech trees have a leaf disease, as we all know, that thankfully hasn't taken my tree out yet, but has taken a lot of other beech trees out across the town and the state. I guess they're getting better at the treatment, so we're treating these 2 beech trees, and it's $4,000 to treat these 2 trees. And that treatment is every other year, so, you know, but they're beautiful trees, if they can be preserved, you know. But I guess I didn't go deep into the inventory yet. So, Bill Claffey is on it. He was appointed tree warden which is not atypical for other towns to have their DPW person be tree warden. I think it's gonna work out really well. It's an additional stipend for Bill of 10,000 or so, about
12, somewhere.
10 or 12, yeah. Bill was not a tree warden yet, but he is taking the classes to become that. But Bill Claffey has been just, Larry Bowen was wonderful for 20 years. Bill Claffey is different. And, and he's used Larry on some sidewalk work. So they have a good relationship, and Bill's just been a different manager, but really great for the town. Gives it all, so. Change is good, you know, we'll move on from the fire marshal, we've moved on from the police chief, you know, and the town will move on, you know, nobody's irreplaceable, right?
Was that a big tree in front of your house? Is that a beech tree?
It's a beech tree, yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Oh,
And it's,
beautiful
yeah.
tree. Do you sleep well?
You know, it's funny, somebody I know referred to me as the bravest man in Old Saybrook for living underneath that tree. Yeah. And as far as I have it treated every year by Save a Tree. And I've had it pinned, because the cable that does this, so. As far as I know, it's still healthy. It is definitely aging, and it is definitely not as healthy as it was when I first moved into that property, but I'm hoping it doesn't get beech leaf disease and it can, you know, continue to remain healthy, so. But the beech trees are beautiful. They take forever to grow, and we've lost a lot of them in town, so if we can save what we have, that'd be great. Any questions? I didn't really.
Questions?
John?
Anything new on the pavilion situation?
So, yeah, I've emailed them twice in the last 2 weeks, and they are apparently going to get back to me next week. And I guess it's been indicated to me that we have an agreement in principle, but we will see. The other thing, Bruce, you might be interested in this, as part of the Mariners Way Committee, the Board of Selectmen is going to discuss and then maybe eventually take up a blight, commercial blight ordinance. I have a sample from Bertram's office. We don't, you know, we'll see. That's an ordinance that will have to go to town meeting, and we'll see how people react to it. But we're gonna take it up and work on one and vote on one, and we'll put it before the town.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, other questions people have?
George?
Quick question, so actually for Leanne, so this is back to your operating expenses, so I mean, related to the fire marshal, right? And so the budget amount, that's probably not all compensation, right? Because the budget amount for tree warden is like 60,000. I mean, you said each time was only 10,000, so obviously there's always other costs associated with that. But for the fire marshal, where the budget amount is about 162,000.
Salary is about 90 something thousand.
Salary is 92.
There's two. And he does not, I mean, I don't want to get into what individuals do, but there's other benefits and things like that that people can or cannot take. And so that would affect the cost of a budget where, you know, that has such a small department associated, but there's a small number of people associated with the department.
Again, the question is, I mean, are we paying people enough to keep?
He's not leaving because of pay.
Okay. No more questions?
Well, but I am not gonna speak for why he's leaving, okay? But the pay is competitive. I will say the pay is competitive. Okay, I mean, that's my opinion.
We'll move on to comments from other board members. Board members?
I have a comment. I really owe an apology to Carl for correcting the number on the date of what the hell was the date about? About the contract for the former chief.
Okay.
how long ago it was.
Okay.
You said 10 years. I said 11. So I said 11, but I really meant 2011, so I corrected your incorrect number with my own incorrect number. So I apologize for that, and the real number is somewhere around 2012, 2013.
For what?
For that, for the date of the town charter entrance
Oh,
on the salary of.
the 3-year
Yeah.
personnel
So
contract.
I apologize to you for
Oh,
making that.
I don't think I insist on it
Incorrect
being right,
correction.
but, whatever the charter says, it says, whenever it was
Whatever it
adopted.
was.
All right,
Apology accepted.
we got that.
I was concerned.
There you go.
I was like, where's Don Obi
He's
apology?
been wearing that for 3 weeks.
Yeah, actually.
Anybody else? Comment? Public comment. We have, once again, nobody in the audience, nobody online, no comments from the chair. Oh, except for, we will plan to have a meeting, 2 weeks from tonight. I hope that what we'll be able to do is have a very brief, business meeting. There is business in front of us, but I would like to recognize a couple of our key board members who have been with us for quite a while and give them a send off. So we will, hopefully everybody will be able to attend. And in order to make sure you can attend, the meeting on November 4th is canceled.
Good.
So you can make it
It's election day.
exactly. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.